I'm going to turn on the local recording so that I can make VODs. Alright. Well, let's go into the next game. Can't do that one because that's the 2v2. Do games. This one has a little bit of backstory to it. Because Game was talking to me earlier, and he was saying that he made some really obvious mistakes in this series, but he wanted me to know that excuse me. He wanted me to know that his mistakes were due to the fact that he injured his hand or something like that. So he couldn't grip his mouse correctly. And you know what, that's understandable. Shit happens in real life and it can affect your game. You've seen that from a lot of players. I think it was the WK. But the other piece of backstory to the backstory is that, to tell me this, Game woke me up at 4:30 in the morning. And my capacity for sympathy really doesn't start until 8. So, I kinda don't care. Sorry, Game. But, really? You really had to wake me up at 4:30 in the morning to tell me that you couldn't play right? I didn't even get back to sleep, man. You're a son of a bitch, Game. I hate you. Alright, anyway. TVP on Aztec. The WK I haven't seen before, and I casted most of Asia Pacific's games. I'm pretty sure he's a Chinese player? I'm gonna go double check. Yes, he is a Chinese player. But he's not the Chinese players that we have been seeing before. Because the Chinese players we'd been seeing before from Team Asia Pacific was Heroes, CVCV, and KKLL. Because they love their repeating consonants, apparently. But the WK, the new one. Anyway, interesting building position from Game. And this has to do with just how Aztec works. You can't make a good wall down here, and even if you make a halfway competent one, you still don't want goons sitting up on a high ground shooting down at you. So if you want to go for a siege expand on this kind of map, you really do need to build your buildings on the high ground so that you can sometimes slip in a unit here or put Marines here or something. This is why I personally favor players who do a 1-Rax FE or a 14cc on this map, just because you don't want to have to worry about being contained at your natural on a reverse ramp versus a Protoss. That's just icky. If you go for 1-Rax FE or a 14cc, you're already up on the top, so you're actually better able to defend it despite the fact that you're not making as many units. And the obvious benefit of having a faster economy. Anyway, both players are going to scout top first, so scouting each other last, but the WK will arrive slightly sooner. I think WK will be doing normal stuff. And, yep, so far is getting goon range, getting the first goon out, and that's going to go immediately over to his opponent's base. Ooh, there's a Zealot I missed. The Zealot will not be able to get through that wall. So, won't be able to do much more than attack a supply depot if it chooses to, but nope, just going to run away. And wait for the goon, because the goon can range the supply depots. Unfortunately, with this kind of setup, you're not able to build a bunker here. So the goon's going to be able to start ranging despite the fact that range is only halfway done. And even at that, the goon's going to be able to play games to try to pick off the Marines. So, just another reason why reverse ramp maps are really bad for Terran. You need to pull that back. He can beat... the WK with proper micro should be able to beat the Marines with the goon. But the issue is when he steps forward and then all the Marines step forward and start shooting the goon. He needs to pull back immediately and not let that much damage happen. Or he can just play it safe and sit back here like this, where no matter what, the Marines can't hit him, but he can at least try to take out the supply depot. Game's first tank is out, and siege mode's not quite done, but it looks like he has a high enough Marine count that he's not even going to need the tank. The WK didn't reinforce with goons really much. One more coming, but it's a bit late. He could have gotten another one out. Instead, he kept a goon at home. Interesting. It's so common for Protoss players to just automatically rally all their goons to the front. It's kind of weird to see a player not do that. The difference isn't very big, but it's just such a common convention. Anyway, the command center is being built. Oh, sad probe. Command center is being built, so game will slowly creep forward and take out this. It looks like he has escaped the trap of being reverse contained. Meanwhile, the WK is also building his command center, his expansion. Similar timings, but it's going to take game a little bit of time to float out, so the WKs will be sooner, as you would expect from a player that's going siege expand. And game's banking a little bit of money here. Is that... what are you building? Turret? Okay. It's a little bit high. You'd expect to see either a second factory or a starport or whatever going down. Whatever it is he intends to follow up with. But it's fine. Alright. He's just practicing the lifting abilities of the command center before flying it out. That's fine. I'm pretty sure that... I don't know how a broken hand would affect your ability to move the command center, but maybe that was part of it. I don't know. Ooh, there's a shuttle on the way, and there is no Robo Bay. Interesting. Are we going to see a Bulldog? It's possible there is it might not even be a Bulldog. It could be an elevator. There's a lot of surface area over here with a pretty low, pretty small distance. There is one turret here which will deter it a little bit, but certainly doesn't cover anything over in this area. Although, this would be the optimum space to try to do an elevator from, so that would be a very nice move from game, just sticking the turret there. But we'll see. We'll see. Looks like he's not going to do any aggression immediately. Going to keep the shuttle at home. And other than that, just continuing to do normal Protoss stuff. Now getting a third up. Going for the mineral only. The mineral only is safer on this map, as you can pretty much cover the natural with the same forces, but it is a mineral only. The patches only have 1,000. This would be the higher risk gas expansion. Or you go across the map and do it Zerg style. Anyway. So, looks like both players are quite content to go passively for the time being. Sending a couple scouts out. Looks like game's going to try to find the third, and this is the other good location for a third. It's a little bit harder to defend, but it's kind of out of the way, so it's hard for Terran to attack at the same time. Easy to put a pylon wall up, and it does have a gas. Meanwhile, Citadel's down, but no Templar Archives and no speed just quite yet. I assume it's for speed, but we'll have to see. I'm still slightly confused by the shuttle. The shuttle was so early, yet at the same time he didn't even go over there to look about doing an attack. I mean, he sent observers over so we could see what was up, but I'm not sure why you would build the shuttle that early if you weren't planning on doing an attack with it. He's still going to have uses for it. He can still use Zealot bombs or store his High Templar in there. He is getting a Templar Archives and Stargate, so it might be for fast arbiters. You can store High Templar in there, but you really don't need it that fast. I assume he had a plan for it, and I'm just trying to figure out what he saw that made him decide to not use it. Or maybe it really was just for preemptive zealot bombs. But that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm perplexed by this early shuttle. Anyway, game is just now starting to spread out mines. He's a bit passive with that. Probably should have started that earlier. But WK is now starting to clear them out. So game really won't have the mine. You had an observer there too. Oh, that's just sad. That's so sad. All right. Anyway, what? That definitely had to do with the hand, because this is a horrible place to engage his opponent. His tanks weren't anywhere close to each other, and this is going to be crushed by the Protoss quite easily. There are a couple more reinforcements tanks in the back, but it looks like the WK is just going to go for it. Brings the goons up. Nope, the mines are destroyed. That could have been a very bad hit, but game's attack is just pushed back. I'm getting chat messages. I'll look at that later. Game's been pushed back. He should be able to hold here. This is the death trap of Aztec. So many good players try to attack up this ramp, and so many good players fail at attacking up this ramp. You can go around, but it's kind of a long way around, and the allure of just attacking up that ramp is too much for a lot of players. But WK pulls back a couple units. Not going to send everybody up. And in fact, it was for fast arbiters, not for Templar, as what would be expected. And those ones are on the way. Is he getting upgrades yet? No, not quite. What was the Skype message? Okay. Oh, man. Got it. So, I used the phone a friend option on the dropship, and according to GoTunk, it's for countermeasures against dropships. Because of the Cliffordable natural here. That might be. That seems reasonable. I like that answer, and I'm going to go with it. Anyway, game's doing a little bit of harass with the vultures, but they're going to die before they actually make it to the probes, so that's not going to work out very well. And it looks like the WK is going to be able to set up a fourth. Meanwhile, game has gotten his third down at the mineral only of his own. He should be able to hold this pretty well with the tank forces. This isn't a very... It's a pretty big ramp, but not horribly big compared to some maps. So he should be able to defend it pretty easily. People in the chat are talking about that Jadon Kanata game. I haven't watched it yet. I know I need to watch it, and I have a basic understanding of what happens, but I just haven't yet. It's definitely on my to-watch list. In fact, I have the YouTube video open in one of my tabs. I just haven't started it yet. Anyway, so WK got this expansion up. I know there are some ramps that are sneaky where if you put 3 like this, the vulture could still get in. Is this one of them? I didn't think it was, but it might be. Anyway, that's going to be fine with 4 pylons and the cannon behind, just as a little bit of extra safety. Game's starting to spread out vulture mines. I guess that would be a pretty big indication of what happens when you injure your hand. You just can't lay mines well. So that's rather understandable why he's had such bad vulture control in this game. Anyway, they're going to go for... Nope. Trying to poke up there, but get ambushed by a pack of goons, and do hit on goons on the way out. Keeps most of them alive, so not bad. That's a lot of tanks. A lot of +1 tanks is +2. No, that's 1-1. 1-1 just finished. And he's going to go for an attack now that his armor has finished, or is he going to wait a little bit longer? It's not clear at this point. That's not good. Don't lay one mine and then lose half your vultures. Anyway, expanding to take a fourth, which is a pretty good move in this situation. I mean, the army isn't in a good position to defend it, but at the same time, Protoss has been so passive this game, you pretty much can get away with it. Meanwhile, Protoss is taking a fifth. And really, other than that one really bad attack over here, both players have done nothing this game. It's a lot of sitting, a lot of expanding, and typically that kind of style does favor the Terran. Because if you split the map, Protoss versus Terran, and Terran's allowed to get 200 and all the fancy upgrades, it can be rather hard to stop. And it looks like we're going to get to that point. Well, it's 190 supply for the players, and it's just a matter of who is going to make the move first. Oh, we have a recall down at the bottom, and Game's army is not in a good position to defend against it at all. A lot of these supply depots are going to go down. 4 already, and they're just going to continue to fall. He might even be able to get that starport. It's not clear at the moment. Oh, that's why he didn't get +2. He doesn't have the science facility. He only just recently built that starport. How long is it going to take him to get reinforcements in here? He's lost so many supply depots. He's at... That's horribly supply blocked. Oh, that's not good at all. And this is a mostly zealot army. Normally it's the goons that are the bigger problem, but he just couldn't get anything back there. And Game is continuing to lose forces. He went from 200 supply to 112. Oh, and he is eventually able to clean this up, but he lost 50 supply of his own in that attack. So, very rarely are recalls like that actually supply positive for the Protoss, but in that situation it worked out, not to mention all the supply depot kills. So many supply depot kills. And now, the WK just needs to max up and then attack, because Game isn't going to be able to build anything for a while now. He does have a lot of money, though, so he can just throw down supply depots. But there was a recall at the natural. Most of the SCVs do pull away, but the command center is going to go down, and more tanks are going to be lost. Game is having a really hard time with army control this game. More supply depots going down. The command center is almost... Yep, it's down. Game's at 100 max supply. He's lost half of his army, and yet he still can't build anything. And he is eventually going to clean this up, but now with Game's army out of position, the WK can march his forces across the map. Although this is a pretty weak army, doesn't even have arbiter support, it might not matter because there's just so few tanks. These ones aren't even in siege mode. There's some more tanks back here in a bad position, and it looks like the goons are just going to be able to bypass most of the tanks and go after the fourth. Game is losing all of his mining. Pretty much that's all of his mining at this point, if this base doesn't back go down as it would appear to be. Game is trying to get something to defend it, but only sending a few units, in part because he's just not keeping his army together, but in part because he just doesn't have that much. He's finally not supply blocked, but down only at 120 compared to the 147 of the Protoss. Protoss has lost a lot in these attacks, but he's going to be able to remax pretty quickly. The Game is not floating as much money as he was a second ago, but it's still not a good amount of money to be floating. And it looks like he's going to try to expand to the vacant main, while the WK is trying to expand to this side expansion. Meanwhile, yet another recall in the main. And where is Game's army to defend against it? It looks like he's a little bit faster on the reaction time, but it's not a very big force. It might not even be able to clean up that many goons. Depends on how the WK manages this, but if he runs away from the tanks as they siege, they're going to be able to do a lot of damage before Game's finally able to kill it. The science vessel pops, but it's going to go down immediately. There are enough turrets around that he doesn't really have to worry about scanning, it looks like, but these goons are going to do so much damage. Oh no, I guess he doesn't have a turret right around here, so those siege tanks can't actually fire. And now the goons aren't even going for buildings anymore. They're just picking off the units as they spawn. Oh, that turret goes down, so now game is completely reliant on scans. Take back what I said about him not needing scans. And it looks like that Zealot's going to stop that armory from finishing the +2 attack. Oh, that's going to be a huge blow. And yes, he does focus it down, so it will be stopped. And at the same time, the WK doing a very, very nice multi-pronged attack. Recalls everywhere, sending the ground force after the recall goes down just as game is distracted. And now this base is certainly going to be forced to lift. Well, I thought there were more units there. They're all in Zealots. I don't even think game's going to be able... There are so few goons, but I think they can still manage to kill the command center if the WK was to stay there just because game has so few units. It's 180 supply compared to 87. And game does have a hidden expansion over here, but it just doesn't matter at this point, because the WK is just going to continue to rally in units. I do really like a lot that he hasn't been attacking up this small ramp. Now he is, because he's ahead by so much, but every other ground attack has gone up around the top. And I think that's such a smart move, because this is what happens. It is on a very small scale, but you can see there's one unit stuck at the top, and then they can't get up, and then the splash damage just rapes them. But it doesn't matter, because he's ahead by so much. Oh. That's unfortunate. Looks like the WK isn't going to bother to finish off this expo, but is going to try to do some more damage over here. Pulled all his goons away, so it's just arbiters at this point. And he has 180 supply, but I'm not actually sure where the 180 supply is, because he doesn't have a huge ball of units. It's just kind of fragmented parts. There's still an arbiter in here because game can't afford Goliath. Game has used all of his excess money. He's mining out at the one base he's managed to keep safe this entire time, and there are goons that are coming to kill it anyway. Stasis at the ramp to block it, and GG from game. WK takes game 1. Alright. Game number 2 of game versus the WK. Whoa. I knew that one of the maps was destination, but for some reason I kept reading it as match point. So I kept thinking one of them that the ace match map was match point and not destination. Probably because the ace match last time was destination. Or match point and not destination. And they're both 2-player maps and they're both stretched long ways, and yeah. I just like match point. Anyway, game number 2. Yellow Protoss is the WK at the top. Green Terran is game at the bottom. And this map can be very brutal to Protosses, just because there are so many double bridges, and double bridges are death. So much death. I do like game's decision to go on this map. The last game, one of the huge issues he had was lack of vulture control. And on this map, you don't need to lay mines as much. It's a lot easier to control space as Terran, as it's not a big open plain where you have to try to watch where the opponent's maneuvering with mines. It's essentially linear. So if you don't have immaculate mine spreadage, it's kind of okay. Man. Dude, if we were having a wrestling match, I could be on the USA team, because I was a wrestler in high school. Dude, and I've seen pictures of other StarCraft players, man. They're twigs. I could totally take them. Just saying. Just saying. If there is a wrestling branch of Nation Wars at some point in the future, I'm getting a spot on the USA team, man. Anyway. So, Game... Looks like Game's going to do the same thing he did last time. Siege Expand. Good, solid, very safe stuff. Meanwhile, the WK is looking like he's going to do the same thing he did last time. He just has enough gas for range now, so he will probably start that as soon as it finishes. Or not. He's going to use it on a goon first, and then get range. There we go. It's going to be kind of hard for him to do any damage with the goons, though. There isn't a forward bunker, and Game's going to be able to get his siege tank out fast because it's a siege expand, and this is a very nice spot to put tanks to cover everything. So, the ranged goons probably not going to do too much. How much up? There we go. Actually still a lot of health. It looks like the WK is not even going to bother to send the first goon. Instead, going to try to focus on the SCV first. Now this time, is he going to move out with the goons? Yes, he is. Alright. Wanted to take out that guy first. But by the time he gets there, it's certainly going to be too late. The game has started his command center, so he'll float that down after... He'll float that down after it's done. First tank is on the way. I assume when he has 150 minerals, he'll get siege mode. Get siege mode. There we go. Get siege mode. And ooh, he's removing that barracks a little bit soon. His siege tank's not actually going to be out, but he's probably going to be fine. Marines on the high ground are going to be enough of a buffer to stop the Protoss. Probably. Good micro by the WK to not lose that goon. Although he's probably going to lose it anyway. Yes. Good. That was nice by Game to focus down the injured one. And now the WK is going to be forced to pull back. Anyway, second factory going down for Game. And the WK is looking very similar to what he had last time. Fast robo, semi-fast expansion to the natural. It's going to be a little bit behind Games this time, as opposed to a little bit faster. So that's essentially the same timing. And the tanks aren't protected really, but there's only 2 goons, so they'll be fine. And now that the goons have moved away from the base, you can siege them up here, and then take on a near infinite amount of goons, because double ramps are death. I think that these are like the hardest choke points to deal with in like any map. I'm trying to think of another map that has choke points this narrow and for this long. Because it's like as narrow as a ramp, but the ramps are short, so once you get past the checkpoint, you're fine. But these ones, it's just, they go on forever. Forever and ever and ever. I can't think of another map with that bad of with that point of choke points. Trying to. There's some maps that have like weird double bridges in the center of like 4-player maps. I can think of a couple, but they're not that long. Anyway, well, it looks like Gotunk was right about the necessity for the shuttle on that one particular map because, oh, never mind, take it back. I guess he was wrong about the necessity for the shuttle of that one particular map. Oh, well, that's sad. because the WK built one anyway. It's not filled with anything. I don't know, man. He's just like shuttles. Good for scouting, I guess. And, what are you doing? Tanks don't beat goons like this. He is able to kill them because he has superior tank numbers, but he's down from 5 tanks to only 2. And there are a few zealots out. It looks like he's going to try to go for zealot bombs. I don't think you can really bomb because the tanks aren't going into siege mode. But I guess he's trying to go for a mine drag or something. Meanwhile, Game has put his tanks in a very nice position. It's just as hard to get across the double ramps this way as it was when the goons were attacking him. So we'll see what he's able to do. The WK has already expanded over here, so if Game doesn't see it, then he'll be in a much better economic position than Game thinks. But Game should be able to take it out pretty easily once he gets a few more units. And actually, the WK looks like he's hurting pretty bad. He used his goons to take out the tanks, but now he doesn't have very many, and vultures are really just putting the hurt on him. Where's the observer? I thought he had another observer. There's the observer, but he's not in the right position at all. He can't get back here to clear mines, and he's trying to navigate around the turrets, but it's going to take him a little while. Looks like the WK has mined out his back minerals. He's going to go for an expansion here, so he's continuing normal expansion timings, but he's lost his natural, and he has absolutely no map control. Looks like he's trying to clear some mines with goons, but that's not going to work at all. And this game is putting down a lot of mines. And it looks like he canceled the Nexus over here just because he realized he wasn't going to be able to clear it out very soon. So Game will eventually take down the Phylons and kill the probe that's inside. Meanwhile, this base is still as vulnerable, although it is more hidden. But as soon as Game realizes it's there, he's going to be able to take it out just as easily. That's a turret, even though I can't click on it. There we go. It looks like Game is going to try to get across the double bridge and siege up in the natural. Or is he confident here? I'm not sure why he needs 2 forward turrets if he doesn't want to get any farther. But it looks like the WK is going to make his push. It's going to cost him a lot of units, but it might just be enough. Oh, WK has taken a lot of mine hits in both of these games, but he does get goons into the tank line, so he will be able to take them out. Game has not been able to produce many tanks. It looks like the WK is going to defuse that very bad situation. But it cost him a lot, and Game has gotten 5 factories behind it, although he doesn't really have the economy to support it at the moment. He's only on 2 bases. Looks like he's going to try to expand here. And looks like Game did eventually take that pylon down. And now I'm just going to take him out slowly. Although I don't think he's going to be able to take out that one before he gets killed by goons. No, it's not. Anyway, Game realizes that the back door is open, so he's gonna play a lot more mines. Oh man, the WK is just gonna have nightmares about these mines when he went to Satanas in the past. But delays mining once again. The WK is only mining off of 1 base at the moment. So his economy is just being hampered so badly by these vultures. 55 supply compared to 100 for Game. And Game has once again a very scary army. And the WK isn't in a very good position to stop siege tanks at the front of the double bridge once again. He does have an observer in position to see that there are a lot of units there, but will he... What can he do about it? Game's now moving out. Looks like somehow the WK didn't actually make it all the way over through the mines. Got distracted by something. And now the vultures are far ahead of the rest of the units. It looks like Game was on a move across the map, so the vultures are going to take a few too many dragoon shots, but doesn't lose too many. Is able to kill off all the zealots, and he stops the dragoons from getting across the bridge. takes a good mine hit, kills 2 of them. The other 2 are going to just barely escape, very badly damaged. But once again, Game is in the killing position on the edge of the double bridge. But it looks like he's not going to bother to siege up. He's just going to go for it. He now has tanks across the on both sides of the double bridge, and the WKGGs. Wow. What a different game compared to last game. It was almost as if a completely different player played. Oops, wrong one. Well, we'll see what kind of game shows up for Game 3. I'm saying game way too much, but that's fine. Here we go. Game number 3 on Fighting Spirit. Should be good. So, in the top right position, we have, once again, the yellow Protoss, the WK. And in the bottom left, we have Game, Blue Terran. Well, Game won't be able to get away with what he did last game on this map. The double bridges, you won't have double bridges to defend his natural. He won't have double bridges to allow him to put a lot of pressure on the WK. So Game's gonna have to play a much longer game. I really doubt he's gonna be able to get such a fast win. Let's find out what the WK's high rank is. Alright, find out what Game's high rank is. Oh, A-. That's sweet. I don't know why sometimes text is green and sometimes text is white. It's not just that Game's text is always green and the WK's is always white. So it was like, Game had a white text and then immediately had a green text. Someday I will discover what the difference between those two is. Anyway, the WK is saving up a lot of money. Is the WK going to go for 12 next? It would appear that the WK is going to go for a 12 next. Interesting. Looks like Game's going to go for a siege expand once again. Alright, we'll see if he can defend it. The 12 next is a very risky strategy. It's very funky in this matchup. It's like the only matchup where you can lose your expansion and still come out ahead of the engagement somehow. Oh shit. We're name dropping here. He knows PJ. For the people who don't know, PJ was a very talented Chinese player. Back when Noni and Reds and Idra were in Korea, around that time, there were a couple good Chinese players that were also invited to Korean houses, and one of them was PJ. I'm pretty sure PJ was invited. I know Artosis really, really liked PJ. A lot. Alright. Ooh, okay. Game is going 2-fact, and that's going 2-fact before scouting that his opponent 12 next. But now he has scouted it out. So will Game go for an immediate attack? I think that he's going to be able to do a lot of damage. The WK is only off of one gateway. Cybercore is just finishing now. He's certainly not going to have many units out when Game does decide to make his push. But what variety of the 2-fact will he be going? You can either go for a Vulture heavy one or for a a Vulture heavy one or a Siege Tank heavy one. I bet he's gonna go Vultures. Or not, because he's throwing down a second machine shop. Yep, take that back. Well, because we're going siege tanks, it's going to be delayed a little bit because it takes a while to get out a good number of siege tanks, but it will be much stronger than just going for some very quick Vulture harass. He's queued up. He's got 3 tanks, 2 of them building and 1 of them done. He doesn't quite have siege mode started yet. Ooh, he's going to go for a late siege mode. He's going to get spider mines first. Okay. Alright. So, the theory behind this is that even though he doesn't have any vultures yet, if he attacks with the 3 tanks and starts moving across the map, speed vultures with mines will be able to catch up with the army that is moving out. So, once he arrives at his opponent's base, he will have the correct composition of units, even though it would seem rather weird to somebody who didn't understand Terran strategy, where he's getting 2 vulture upgrades yet has no vultures. Well, now he has 1 vulture. But here comes the attack. Only 2 marines. Sometimes Terrans favor a little bit more, but instead of having a good number of marines, he's just going to have a good number of SCVs. They're going to function the same as marines, essentially, just to tank a lot of damage. And that's what he needs at the moment. When will the WK realize that the attack is on the way? He's going to realize it. Oh, is the probe not going to go up? I don't know if the probe actually was able to see that factory, but it certainly did not see this attack coming out. Oh, maybe it did, because the WK is pulling all of the probes to defend now. There's a mine in along with all the probes. Oh! That was a bad hit! Oh, nice move by Game to lay the mine there, and he's going to try to continue to lay mines. The WK's observers isn't going to be out for a while, but he just has a good number of goons that is going to be hard for Game to deal with this, because Game doesn't have any siege mode. But another nice mine hit means that he's going to be able to push up anyway. And more probes are being pulled. Oh, these mines are just going to be the end of the WK. Is siege, how close is siege mode? Siege mode is only a quarter of the way done. So the WK still does have some time before siege mode finishes to try to make something happen, but he doesn't have big goon numbers. He has DTs. Ooh. But the mines are going to hit the... Oh, one of the DTs does go down, but the other one, the other one's coming. He's gonna activate the mines. Oh, lots of mine bombs turning back on Game. Are more DTs on the way? There is one queued up here behind that Dragoon, so it's actually gonna be a while. And there's still 1 siege tank left, and all it takes is 1. So many mines going down. Oh, this looks... Oh, that's so painful to watch. He's trying to clear the mines with goons, but there's... Oh, the last tank does go down. Game was a little bit too forward with it, and it got mine dragged. Is there another tank on the way? There is 1 more tank on the way. It's still quite a ways away, though. I don't think that Game is going to be able to hold his position here. No, he's going to try to go for a run-by with the vultures, but a very nice timing from the WK means he's not going to be able to get up the ramp. I'm pretty sure that was just luck, that his probes happened to be transferring at that time. But Game is going to continue with the pressure. He has 2 more speed vultures and a siege tank. Now siege mode is done. That Dragoon is going to die instantly, but it's going to see that more units are on the way, and yet more mines are being laid. There's a DT, but it's going to die immediately. The tank is injured, but it's going to die anyway because the goons run forward. They still take a good number of hits. How much more does Game have? He's bringing a lot of SCVs. I think he anticipated the tank to still be alive, but there is nothing for the SCVs to do over here unless they're going to build turrets or something. Anyway, more vultures are being rallied in. Where's the siege tank? The vultures can only be so effective without the siege tank, although the mines are doing a lot. And no, he's not building a siege tank. There isn't a siege tank on the way. He's just going to try to hold the WK back with an overwhelming number of mines, and it might work. There's still no observatory out for the WK, and he's building a Stargate, so he's going to go Arbiters before... Is it for Arbiters? Because Arbiters for observers is really weird, but at the same time, going for scouts would be weird. I don't know, I find them equally likely at this point. And the WK has taken, so many mine hits this game. It's just painful to watch. That was a nice move by... No, never mind. That was pretty good mine laying to lay them down so instantaneously, but it looks like the aggression is finally done. Oh, the DT actually hits the mine. It is technically possible to kill mines with DTs if you're awesome or lucky. And it looks like it is going to be for very fast arbiters. 2 base arbiters, no observers. He is getting a cannon for detection. That's actually going to help out a lot because there's so many mines being placed here, but I think Game's aggression is done anyway. And Game only now building a command center. His command center is very much delayed. So the WK, I still think is at a bit of a disadvantage, but not that horrible considering how late this is. He does have a turret down, so the DT is going to die if it gets in range. Or not. Nope. I thought the 2C Shaken Vulture would kill it, but apparently you need 1 extra shot from any of those. Anyway, 70 supply compared to 50. I thought with all that damage that Game had done, I thought he was going to be in a very good position, but he didn't expand, and he was... I guess that's the problem with the 2 fact. You just really do not have a very good economy behind it. Anyway, the WK looks like he's starting to position these units to take the 3rd. There is a probe in that mix, although he doesn't quite have the money for it yet. Meanwhile, Game is a long way away from being able to take his 3rd. He now is starting to get a good tank number, up to 5. He's producing more. Yes, 1 more. And he's going up to, once again, 5 factories off of 2 bases. I think he's really going to be looking to take that 3rd very quickly, because 5 factories off of 2 bases is really hard on your economy. So, +1 is on the way for the WK. I assume Game's +1 is also on the way. Or not. I don't see an armory. Never mind. The WK continuing to take mine hits. Is there an observer out? Is there a robo bay down? He doesn't even have a robotics bay down. Man. He just really hates observers. Anyway, looks like Game's going for a little bit more pressure here. The mines are going to be able to do some good damage, but I don't think... Well, it might be enough. There's 3 more tanks hiding in the back. I think Game is going to just barely lose this. He needed a couple more mines there if he didn't have good vulture numbers. Although there is another tank here. It's going to be close. No, it looks like he is finally going to die. A couple extra reinforcements to WK coming up. But Game has equalized the supply, 74 to 72. And Game is just laying mines down like a fiend. And this is what's really hurting. Another mine hit. Another mine hit. Where is your Robo Bay? Seriously, he still doesn't have a Robo Bay this late into the game. We're kind of getting close to 15 minutes into this game without a Robo. I guess he's using the gas for arbiters. I don't know, he really needs to make something happen with these arbiters. He's researching recall. And recalls were very effective last game, but he had observers last game. Looks like that's not rallied. Anyway, these vultures aren't going to be able to do too much. Dragoon came up, and there is a cannon behind there, even if they were able to take it down. And more vultures out. He needs to lay so many more mines. Not have that happen. We're reverting back. There we go. There we go. Now we got some good mine layage. Once he finally does get tanks... there we go. Once he finally does get his tanks out there, The WK is just going to eat so many hits as he marches his goons to try to defend this X, though. Meanwhile, these vultures did take out the pylon that was here. Actually, that SCV took it out. But Game's going to be able to take his third, and he's probably going to shut down the WK's third. I'm not sure how the WK can defend against this. Recall is done, and another Arbiter's on the way. He has a very large number of Arbiters at this point in the game, but Arbiters, I don't know how much they're going to help. The Game is setting up a very scary looking network of vultures and mines and turrets and siege tanks. Well, the WK realizes that there is an attack now coming. What is his response going to be? He's going to move out. Let's watch the mine hits. Well, not taking that many. Now he is. Now he's going to take mine hits. Okay, so he only lost like a third of his forces to mines? Yeah. Alright. Assuming the Game does have scans, which he does, he will be able to take out this army. Ooh, nice stasis. Actually, it's not that nice of a stasis, it just looks like it. Stasis and vultures really doesn't matter. It's going to delay Game from killing this off, but I don't think the WK is going to be able to win this engagement. I think Game's going to be able to pull this out. Yay! It's an observer! Nice! I'm happy for the WK. He's still going to take mine hits because it didn't stop him from taking mine hits in the two other games, but he should be taking significantly less. And ooh, that's not what you want. walking your tanks through invisible dragoons. But the Arbiters go away, so the dragoons all die. Pylon goes down, so he can start slipping vultures in. There is a cannon here, but he has enough vultures so that he can still kill it. And taking more mine hits. But that one wasn't that bad. Ooh, if he's running the vultures away, I thought he would go and try to kill off all of the probes. But no, he actually gets the vultures out of there. He's keep them alive. I'm not sure why he did that, but anyway, 103 supply compared to 109. But the WK did break what looked like a very scary wall, but was pretty tank light. So he was able to eventually overpower it. And Game did not build that when he had an SCV just chilling there for quite a while. I'm not sure if he didn't have the money for it, because he's not exactly keeping his money that high. So I'm not sure if he just didn't have the money for the command center or if he forgot about it. But his economy is not looking very good right now. As you saw, the main is mined out. And his natural's still actually rather saturated because he took it so late. Meanwhile, the WK is almost out in his main, almost out in his natural. So, neither player with an amazing economy at this point. Meanwhile, Game has some good mine layage. There is an hiding SCV in the tree. That's nice. But we'll see. The WK, for the first time this game, pretty much, has an opportunity to be kind of aggressive with a very high Arbiter count. But we'll see what he can do. Meanwhile, vultures are attacking the third. Where's the WK? Yes, the WK does have some dragoons to send down, and a recall on the third. It looks like they did not take the mine hit. I saw there was a mine here, but it was killed off. The mines up here were killed off as well, so these are almost all full health goons. And now Game is starting to bring in tanks from the bottom, and that is a lot of tanks. He's not going to. He did sustain a good amount of damage from this recall. Will he manage to keep the command center alive? It's unclear at the moment. He did lose a lot of SCVs, and GG from Game. Oh, he got recalled in the main. Wow. Wow. Well, WK takes it. 1-1, USA versus Asia Pacific. I didn't realize Game was in that bad of a position. But I guess once the aggression died down, he just didn't have anything to defend himself. The double recall was pretty brutal. But I didn't think that the game was over. Maybe it was. Maybe he really just could not handle that second recall. There wasn't enough time to see what units he had anywhere in the vicinity. Damn it, I hit Johnny again. A lot of people in chat are saying he had no scans, which is true. Alright. Well, I don't know who the players of this one are. Let's go into set number 3 of US versus Asia Pacific. This is the semifinals for the Altitude Nation Wars. Altitude the game. You should check it out. AltitudeGaming.com. I believe is the URL. It's in the thread. Oh, that's not who I should be following. But go check it out if you haven't already. So, we have Modesty for Team USA, rocking the orange Zerg. And for Team Asia Pacific, we have I don't know how to spell his name. KKLLKLKL. KKLLKLKL. I think 8-syllable names should be banned. Just throwing that out there. So, two of the better players from each of the teams. KKLL was one of the Chinese players, along with Heroes, who've been playing most of the season with very nice results. And Modesty has been one of the more consistent players for Team America, in that he's been a good player who has been showing up every time, which can't be said for all the American players. And he's had some good results of his own. Now, it's been a little while since I was been casting, but if I remember correctly, both of these players are rather aggressive in their respective ZVP or PvZ matchups. So, hoping to see some good early or mid-game Zealot on Hydralisk action. Anyway, Modesty, going for the 12 patch. Going to go for that nice economy. And KKLL is going to do the normal stuff, although that... Okay, gateway here. And that's awesome if it's tight on this side. Is it tight on this side? I guess we'll find out. Anyway, gateway's going to go here, so that will be the wall that he's setting up. The cannon's a little bit exposed, but... I mean, assuming that this is tight, I really like the wall on this side, because this will be tight, and then this will be not a horribly large opening, and on the bottom. Anyway, KKLL, he built 2 cannons really early, which, he did scout his opponent last, so that's a little bit unfortunate. If he had scouted his opponent sooner, he would have seen that the Zerglings were going to be delayed, and he wasn't going to need 2 cannons immediately. But, you're forced to play it safe in this matchup, so... Now, this map, because I haven't mentioned it yet, is one of the newer maps, and it's the 4-player Medusa map. As you can see, they have the stacked, not temples, but side disruptors, with minerals in the front so you can glitch, and in the back there is a small mineral only. Kind of makes it interesting for Protoss, because Protoss can essentially do 2 base strategies, but get an Expo and do a 2 base strategy off of 3 bases. Which, as I said, if I remember correctly, that's what KKLL does anyway. So on this map, he'll be able to have a lot of extra zealots when he does move out, and it won't be delayed too much. And more importantly, it'll just be safe. Anyway, Modesty has started to take his third. This is the natural of one of the extra mains. It looks like both players are doing pretty standard stuff so far. We haven't seen if that was if that's tight or not, but it really doesn't matter at this point because we're beyond the point of Zergling run-bys. Meanwhile, getting a Stargate up, so that's good. Keeping the probe alive. Keeping the probe alive. How long till speed's done? Oh, is it actually going to escape? Oh, Modesty mismicros the drone. Doesn't block. And speed is finished, but the drone's getting in the way. More Zerglings coming in. That's a lot to be chasing one probe. He needs to pull back the drone because the drone's actually stopping the Zergling from attacking. Actually, is the drone transferring and not attacking? Oh, the drone was just transferring. It wasn't trying to attack. That's kind of funny. But the probe has recovered all of its shields, so it sees the third and is probably going to be able to get home. +1 on the way. Citadel is done with leg speed on the way. Not... Oh. Probe got trapped. Hasn't started the archives yet, but he just has enough money for it now. So if it's going to go down, we'll see it. There we go. He will be going for a fast archive. And meanwhile, Modesty is doing the 5-hatch Hydra. Wait, does he not have a Spire? Ooh, he didn't get a Spire. Is he getting fast lurkers? No, he's not getting fast lurkers. Because you gotta normally timed lair. And normally with that timing of the lair, it just means you're gonna get the Spire for the Scourge. But I don't see a Spire. I hope I'm not missing it. It's not bad to not get a Spire. I personally prefer it when Zergs don't get the Spire. Instead go for a bigger Hydralisk army, but I just don't know why you got the fast lair. Was it for Overlord upgrades? No. Oh, we'll see what he was planning with the fast lair eventually. Anyway, looks like the +1 timing is on the way. +1 hasn't quite finished, but is about to. And this base is very undefended. Modesty hasn't even thrown down his Sunkens yet. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Modesty doesn't have any Sunkens. He's bringing back the Zerglings, but I think there are enough Zealots that they can still kill the Zerglings. What are morphing in the eggs? Hydralisk, 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 Hydralisk. Is it gonna be enough? I think that this base is going to die. He's trying to bring in more Zealots, or excuse me, more Hydralisks to defend against the Zealots. Modesty does seem to be able... It seems like Modesty will eventually be able to kill this, but he's losing a lot of units in the process. Losing a lot of Overlords. Already 4 down once that one dies. And that Evo Chamber is going to get sniped before the +1 attack finishes. And then the Zealots just turn around and kill off 3 Hydralisks immediately. Oh, wow. KK is not reinforcing this attack, so the stream of Hydralisks will eventually be able to clean them up. In a good way, that should be it for the Zealot aggression, but the Zealots certainly did enough damage. Lots of Hydralisks went down, a few drones went down, the Evo Chamber went down. A very, very successful attack for him, and Modesty's hurting a bit at this point. So the lair was for a fast lurker. What was for semi-fast lurkers. But he went for Hydralisk speed first. I'm not sure if he has range as well. Probably. He might have been getting that just as if I'm going to be scouted, I want my opponent to think that I'm going Spire, because it really didn't change much of the timings for him. But he's going to have problems because KKLL went for Fast Templar, and now he has 4 Templar out. Is Storm done? And Storm is done. I think Modesty lost. Man, there's so many Storms in here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so only 2 Storms left, but soon to be 6. Well, soon to be 5 anyway. Soon to be 4. That's what I meant to say. Soon to be 4. Yeah. I don't think he meant to kill that cannon. I think that was a mistake. Oops. Not gonna make a huge difference, but oops. Anyway, KK is going to take this expo. It is safe just because this is the only entrance to it until this is destroyed. And Modesty is going for faster lurkers, so he might be able to attack it, but at the same time, he has to deal with a very large army out in the middle of the map with observers. So I don't think he's going to get the opportunity to try to take down those temples. And, bit of a mistake from Modesty, allowing some of his Hydralisks to get caught, 2 go down, some others injured. And there are, only a couple lurkers dead. Modesty does not have a huge gas reserve this game. Has he just not been mining gas? I'm not sure why he doesn't have the huge gas reserves that Zergs normally do, but here comes the attack from KKLL, and this is looking like a game-ending attack. These Hydralisks are horribly clumped up, and there are Templar, and a Storm goes... Oh, wow, so much Hydralisk blood. The Hydralisks are forced to pull back even further, but they can't pull back far enough to be safe, and yet another Storm goes down. Oh, the 2 very badly injured Hydralisks are morphing into lurkers, but he's certainly not going to be able to save the natural. More units coming in from the back, but another good Storm kills off some of the Hydralisks, injures others. Archon being morphed, there is still 1 Storm, but it's not quite done yet. Now there is 1 Storm remaining, and he kind of burned it there, but it doesn't really matter. Modesty is doing his best to throw enough units at the problem to save his natural, but he's slowly losing it. He's sacrificing so many units in the process anyway. He's not exactly killing a lot. These early goons are just very strong. If you don't have the not crackling, but if you don't have Zergling support, it can be very hard to deal with goons in these numbers this early in the game. And GG from Modesty. Alright. Let's go on to game number 2. Modesty versus KKLL. Set number 3 of the semifinals between USA and Asia Pacific. See, we have KKLL as the orange Protoss. Oops, I think I skipped orange. No, I did not. And we have Modesty. Excuse me. As the purple Zerg. Going with one of the newer maps. This map is Jade. It's the one with the high ground ring around all the mains. This map doesn't see a lot of Zergs. in Pro League, it's pretty much a Terran and Protoss map. So an interesting pick by Modesty to go here. All right, see what happens. Anyway, what I'm interested to see is what Modesty does to his third this game. Because I'd be very surprised if he is so relaxed in his defense once again. I would expect him to get down those Sunkens very quickly, or be building more Hydralisks in that place rather than the natural. Because the game is pretty much lost after that point. Alright. Alright. So, Modesty, once again, going for the 12 hatch. And on this map, it's really easy to wall. Just because this is tight, and then gateway here, and then cannons here, and it's very compact, very pretty looking. You can get the goons out. You don't even need to destroy anything. This is actually one of the easiest maps to wall on. And it's that way at all the positions. As you can see, if Modesty was Protoss, it would be just as easy at this place. Which is nice. Alright. So, KKLL did scout earlier this game, so he's not going to throw down the 2 cannons immediately. That's good. He's going to have a little bit better of an economy than he would have otherwise. He might actually not even bother building 2 cannons, because he's going to see that only 2 sets of Zerglings... He's going to see only 2 sets of something morph. I bet he would assume it's Zerglings, but he's going to see that's not a set of 3, and you don't need 2 cannons in that case. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he only threw down 1 cannon, at least until much later. Oh. So far, looking very similar to last game, Modesty is going for the very fast third, and the Lair should be coming up next if he was to continue his pattern. Doesn't quite have the gas for it yet. Speed on the way? No. I guess it's a pretty late gas. Because he had speed done, or not done, but like halfway done by this point. So going to go for later tech. Last game he didn't use his tech, so it doesn't matter. But no, I guess I'm not gonna go for speed this game. Just gonna skip straight to the lair. That's fine. Don't typically see Speedlings doing a whole lot of damage in the beginning of PvZs. We'll get it eventually, but I'm okay with him skipping it for now. Alright. So, I'm still waiting to see a diversion from last game, but both players are doing the same thing, other than Modesty skipping speed. But that's not very significant. KKLL doing normal Protoss stuff. Stargate. Citadel wasn't immediate with the Stargate, a little bit delayed. But that's still pretty normal. Oh, alright, there we go. Modesty is going to go for a Spire this game. So he'll have Scourge out, but Corsairs really weren't the problem for him last game. He really just didn't defend the third, and by building a Spire, he's going to have an even harder time defending it. we'll see, I guess. First Corsair's out, so it might be able to get one kill before the Scourge pop, because the Spire's only about 3/4 of the way done. You can, with your first Corsair, you can either choose to get an Overlord kill, or you can choose to just go for the Scouts. But looks like he's gonna go for the Overlord kill. He's been very active with his probe, and his probe got in a very late Scout, so it wasn't necessary for him to get Scout again with the Corsair. And well, once again following it up with 5 hatcheries. Ooh. Oh, he's taking his 4th very quickly, so he'll be up on 6 hatcheries. But he doesn't have any defense. So he's going to have even less defense against speed loss than he did last game. I'm kind of worried for Modesty right now. Although KKLL isn't getting +1 and isn't getting leg speed, so maybe he's not going to go for the same kind of common Zealot aggression. He's getting +1 air weapons. Interesting. Well, 2 Sunken did go down at the natural, so that's secure. And okay, he did throw down many more Sunkens than he did last game. That's good. You wouldn't be you'd be a lot better off defending against the first 5 Zealots if KKLL was to attack. But now, it's very rare for Protoss to not get the fast +1 in the fast speed loss. Speed hasn't even started, and +1 is very much delayed than when it normally is. Instead, he got fast Templar, and he has a lot of Templar out already. 2 High Templar, 2 Dark Templar. Alright. More static defense is going down. Looks like 3 Sunkens in his 4, and then 2 Sunkens in his 4. Modesty seems to be gearing up for a 4-base Turtle Zerg style, which is falling a little bit out of favor, but still quite popular nowadays. And ooh, that's unfortunate. The Spore Colony doesn't quite see far. Oh, that's really unfortunate. The Spore Colony doesn't see far enough to get the hatchery. Oh, the egg morphed from a larva into an egg, or the larva morphed into an egg, which pushed the DT through the hatchery so that it was in range of the spore, and then it got killed. That was unfortunate. Good old Brood War. Anyway, +1 has finished for the Corsairs, so they're going to be able to kill the Overlords very quickly. They're also going to have an easier time protecting themselves against Scourge, although there are only 5, so... Is that 5 or is that 6? I think it's only 5. Regardless, he has to be careful, and... okay. He very nearly got his way out of that one, and he'll probably be able to get home. Yeah, looks like Modesty's going to back off. Anyway, +1 is now finished. Does he have Zealot leg speed? It doesn't look like he did. I'm waiting for another Zealot to move. Anyway. Given that Modesty was going for a 4-base turtle style, I'm surprised he didn't pick Aztec. Because Aztec is a map that really lends itself towards that kind of play. Okay. Archon Zealot DT for Zealots. An interesting drop composition, but it's going to be rather effective. There aren't many defenses down here. Modesty's invested a lot of his resources into Sunkens, and the Sunkens clearly aren't going to help in this scenario. Where are the Corsairs are now coming in to make it so the DT is invisible. And it looks like this base is going to go down pretty easily. This one hasn't even gotten to sunken yet, and this one is going to finish, but not going to be able to do much damage. So it looks like Modesty is going to lose his fourth rather easily. And that was a very nice move from KKLL. An interesting drop composition, but it's going to do a lot of damage. He even went home to get 8 more Zealots. So there are a lot of Zealots in the back now. I'm not sure if bringing those extra 8 Zealots is necessary, because he's not going to be able to come up this ramp with that many Sunkens, I don't think. Is he going to go for it? I'm not sure. He might be gearing up for a two-pronged attack coming in from both angles, and that's why he's dropping in more Zealots than he needed to clean it up. Because this is a pretty scary force at this point. He does have speed done. That's a lot of +1 speed Zealots, and a good number of DTs as well. There is one Spore Colony, but as we saw before, the Spore Colony doesn't cover a lot of stuff. A few Hydralisks, but the Hydralisks I don't think are going to be enough. And here come the Corsairs to kill off the Overlord, so once that Spore Colony goes down, won't be able to detect the DTs, but it doesn't matter. There's so many Zealots, they would have killed everything even without the DTs. The drones are trying to get into the fight, but there's not a really good angles for them to attack, and now there are only drones. All the Hydralisks are dead, all the Sunkens are dead, and Modesty is going to lose his third. So Modesty is going to be reduced to 2 bases, and far behind the supply. GG. He was only at half the supply that KKLL was. And that one drop just completely crippled Modesty. Ouch. Well, Asia Pacific takes the lead over USA 2-1. Alright. Going into the next 1v1 series. On Cow Cross. Probably should have been doing this one first, but no matter. Oh. So, for set 4, we have Heroes versus Lumix. Lumix versus Heroes. Alright. Heroes is the green Protoss at the bottom, and Lumix is the brown Terran at the top. Interesting matchup. Now, Heroes is I'm pretty sure he's the best of the Chinese players on Asia Pacific. I know he's been used in ace matches a couple times now, and he's a very solid player. Just nothing special. He just does everything by the book and does it all correctly. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be the ace player if this does in fact go to an ace match. And on the other side we have Lumix, who's an interesting player. He likes silly strategies. Specifically, he almost lost a 2v2 because he decided to go nukes. His team came really close to losing the 2v2, and if he didn't land the... Actually, it was against Heroes and KKLL. It was Lumix and somebody for USA, and then Heroes and KKLL. And if he didn't land the nukes on Heroes natural, if his ghost had been killed, or if Heroes had moved away his army or his probes, I think the USA team would have lost that 2v2. So yeah, Lumix is a loose cannon. And in fact, he hasn't been playing many 1v1s. He's been used mostly as a 2v2 player. Most of the time they've tried to use other people instead, but he has played a couple of 1v1s. Well, we'll see. So far, nothing out of the ordinary yet. Lumix going for a siege expand. It looks like. And Heroes is going for the standard gateway and then core. Ooh, but throwing down a second gateway. So Heroes will be applying a little bit of extra early pressure. But I don't think it's going to be able to do too much versus the Siege Expand. Lumix didn't finish his wall. He built the supply depot down here. And I mean, this wouldn't be tight by any means, but... Well, that one would be tight, but this isn't tight, and I don't think that's tight. But you would at least stop the goons from getting in. Well, we'll see. I think it'll be fine. But I'm a little bit nervous considering that Hero's going for 2 gateways quickly, and there is a nice big opening in his wall. Alright. Anyway, looks like Lumix is getting quite forward with his Marines. Is he going to throw down a bunker there? No, he's not sending an SCV. They'll be able to delay 1 goon, but once that second goon comes up, the Marine's going to be forced to retreat. There's not going to be a good place for them to retreat to. The goon... I don't think the goon realizes that there's an opening, otherwise the goon would have ran into the base. But, well, I guess that really did confuse Heroes. He was not expecting there to be Marines there, and a lot of damage done to that goon. It didn't get any shots off. And it didn't get the scout in. Probably going to push up once he has that 3rd goon in there. And continuing to make more. Range is almost complete. And how far away is the first tank? He's not getting siege mode. Ooh, he's not getting siege mode. Anyway. Well, we'll see. 1 tank out. There are a lot of Marines. That's 7 Marines already. Very high number for this matchup. They're gonna do a good job of keeping the goons off of that tank, so 1 tank might be enough. But it looks like Lumix is going to go for some early pressure. As you saw, he was researching spider mines already. So he wants to try to go for he wants to go for some pretty early pressure here. I don't think he's going to be very successful because he doesn't. Does he realize that his opponent is going for a 2-gate? I'm pretty sure he scouted the 2. I'm pretty sure he scouted the 2-gate. So I don't know. I don't think he's going to be terribly successful with this aggression. I think that 2 gates producing goons is just going to be enough to stop him, even with the mines. How far away is Heroes Observer? Hey, he's building a Robo Bay. That's good. Robo Bays provide some very important units, like observers. Yeah, observers are good. Okay. That's fine. Actually, I do have to look at this. Okay. So, sorry, I got distracted by AWA sending me stuff. Looks like both players are going to cool off from the aggression, though. Heroes is staying back, and Lumix as well. What the hell? I don't know if you guys can hear that. I hope you can hear that. I'm going to ignore it. You know what? I can't ignore that. Sorry. Sorry. Roommate got home and decided, dropped off the backpack and went, oh, let's blast the subwoofer. God damn it. Huh. It's pretty late for a proxy. You know what, man? That's Lumix. Lumix is gonna do what Lumix is gonna do. I don't know how successful it's gonna be. What's he gonna... He has to be making vultures. Maybe he can get some good mine hits off on the probes. That's what he's hoping for. He's not actually making anything out of it. There we go. Alright, we'll see, man. We'll see. Is that the siege? I don't think speed's done for the vultures, although it really doesn't matter in this scenario. Hero's goons are kind of far forward, but at the same time, it's not as if he has to work through a network of buildings to get back. How many vultures is Lumix going to wait for before he goes for it? How many observers does Heroes have at this point? I'm pretty sure I saw one. Although it's not with this army, so maybe he... Oh, there it is. Okay. The observer there, he's not making any more, though. He's definitely going to need to bring back one of those two observers. I don't want to miss the vultures going in, but... Man, that's going to be pretty scary. Because it's going to be 5 vultures now? Just attacking from the back all of a sudden? That's going to be a lot of damage. Nope, gonna go for more. How many is he gonna make? I'm so perplexed by this. Well, regardless of that, Lumix is going in with a pretty powerful push at this point. He's forcing Heroes back, and actually it's going to be pretty hard to engage from any angle. Lumix is sieged up in a pretty good position. And lots of mines being laid down. There are observers overhead. So, it won't be that much of an issue, but this is still going to be a pretty hard situation to defuse for him. He doesn't have any zealots. Well, he has 2. And then that's observers. Looks like the mines were a little bit far forward, so the tanks aren't going to be able to protect many of them. Still making vultures. Ew, it looks like Lumix is just going to pull back. Doesn't even want to bother to engage there. He already took out the Nexus, so there wasn't much other damage to be done. Now he's going to siege up on the other side, and that's going to be very hard for Heroes to attack. He shouldn't bother, should just pull back. I think he's actually blocked. I don't think he can actually make any more guys without moving some away. Oh man, it's ridiculous. Alright. So, Zealot Bomb's going in, but don't do any splash damage, but this one might do a lot. Oh, only hits one tank. And the shuttle does go down, so the tanks are very clustered up, but not quite close enough to the spider mines to do any damage. I only really got one of them. And here comes the attack, but here comes the vultures from the back. The vultures are going to kill off a lot of the probes almost instantly. Some of the vultures are moving up to lay mines, and this attack is going to be devastating, because not only is that undefended, but this is undefended as well. Heroes is too busy focusing on this battle, so if you will win this engagement, he's going to lose so much, and he already lost his third. He's going to be almost completely depleted on mining. Well, no, he didn't make it all the way to the natural. He's in position to, but he's not quite doing it. There we go. Now he's making it to the natural. All mining at the main's been shut down, and the third was destroyed a while ago. So Hero's one mining base is under attack. But Lumix has lost his entire army in that engagement. So if Lumix just needs to survive an attack, looks like Heroes is going for the counterattack now. Lumix has a little bit of an army, but only 2 siege tanks. It's not a lot. If he can survive this, I think Lumix is going to be in a great position. But can he survive? He's making more vultures. Oh, the siege tanks are not in a good position, though. Actually, all the vultures are far behind the siege tanks, and the siege tanks aren't even sieged up. So, Lumix is going to lose this battle pretty badly. He needs to pull away with a lot of his vultures. He's trying to lay mines, but there's an observer overhead, so the mines aren't going to do a lot without tank support. And it looks like, at the very least, these Dragoons are going to be able to shut down the third. The third's lifting, and all the SCVs are retreating now. And now there are a couple siege tanks way the hell back here. But there aren't many goons left, and he's not going to be able to reinforce it very well. It looks like he's not going to wait for packs of 6 anymore. He's going to go in a little bit faster. Heroes has to trap the vultures inside of his own base to prevent them from getting to the natural, and it works. But Heroes' army is now coming down. Lumix has so few units to defend, but there are 3 siege tanks. Siege tanks are good. Will it be enough? The SCVs are being pulled. It's going to be close. If the Heroes loses his force, though, he can't reinforce it easily. And it looks like just barely he's going to be able to take this. The SCVs do just enough to prevent the Dragoons from getting in. And Lumix just has more and more vultures. He's doing so much damage with this factory. That was a brilliant move by him. And Heroes now has his Dragoons in a better position, but at the same time, they're just doing so much economic damage. Wow. And now he realizes it. He sees Lumix's dirty secret over here. Oh, man. It looks like Lumix has defeated the Dragoon army. A few more are coming up, but it's not going to be able to do too much to the tanks. So Lumix is going to be fine. He's trying to run out of money in his main, though. He's going to need to be able to take this third eventually. Pretty soon, in fact. The pylon that was trapping the vultures in his base, he forgot to cancel, so he has to kill it. And now vultures are just running in the front. Going to be able to score a lot more probe kills. Oh man, these vultures are brutal. Lumix is once again floating the command center out to the third. He has ceased his tanks now, so should be able to defend against the goons this time. What are his upgrades looking like? Just 1-0. Meanwhile, Heroes also at 1-0. Is he getting anything else? I would really doubt it. He just doesn't have the money for it. I don't even see... Oh, there's the forge. Nope. But it looks like Heroes is gearing up to take his third once again. Which at this point he desperately needs, but he's not going to have many units to try to defend it, and Lumix didn't sustain that much economic damage. I mean, he's been on 2 bases for the majority of the game, which isn't horribly good, but at the same time, it's certainly better than what Heroes had to deal with. Well, 77 supply compared to 100 for Lumix. So Lumix with a significant advantage, but not insurmountable for a Protoss. Oh. Looks like he's not going to be able to do any more Vulture shenanigans. Heroes is doing a pretty good job of keeping Vultures in between, or keeping the Dragoons in between the Vultures and the Probes. And interesting, Heroes going for a High Templar switch. I guess it's not unreasonable considering how little minerals he's had to try to go for some more gas-heavy units instead of just a Dragoon Zealot composition. So we'll see what kind of storms he can get off. All of them do have enough energy for one storm now. His storm research finished. Just about to be. And it looks like he's going to go for some storm drops. He's not going to be able to storm drop the main because those minerals will mine out by the time that they get there. But this is looking very vulnerable to a storm drop if that's in fact where he's going to go. He drops one High Templar to try to storm Vultures. Well, it's going to reveal to Lumix that there are storm drops he needs to worry about. But Lumix has a very scary army now moving towards Hero's base slowly. But the Vultures are out of position. If Heroes attacks from this side, he doesn't have his entire army over there. But alright, there we go. Getting the Vultures into a better position. Good. But it looks like Heroes is going to go for the attack now. The tanks aren't in the best of positions, but there's a lot of them, so it might just not matter. The Vultures trying to do a little bit of micro, keeping themselves alive, keeping the Dragoons away. And it looks like Lumix is going to take that battle pretty convincingly. Didn't lose any tanks, and Heroes doesn't have any speed loss because he's been so mineral poor. He's trying to build some more, but they're not going to get there in time. Oh, catching some tanks out of position, but there are just so many tanks that Lumix can afford to be a little bit careless with them. That High Templar doesn't have enough energy, but isn't being killed. There we go. It finally goes down. Even a dropship being dropped in. He's going to try to drop Vultures over the wall? I'm not exactly sure. There's a DT taking swings at the tanks. There's a scan. Takes out 2 tanks, though. Lumix has still a pretty big tank core to deal with so few gateway units from Heroes. Lumix at 100 supply, Heroes at less than 70. And trying to get some Zealot bombs off, but the tanks navigate away pretty effectively. There weren't mines there to do explosive damage. And that Zealot not going to cause splash damage. And now Lumix has Heroes contained. He has separated the main away from the third. So the third's going to go down pretty easily once a few more reinforcement Vultures come in. And I think Heroes isn't going to be able to recover from this. He's trying to bomb the tanks, but he just doesn't have the units to make it work. And GG from Heroes. Lumix, with his crazy, super delayed proxy Vulture strategy, taking game 1. Oh, I got disconnected. Alright, it's fine. That was Bakker, you telling me I spelled Hero's name wrong. I was hitting join. Alright, 2-2. Is South Park really spoiling it? South Park. I don't know who he was spoiling it for, but don't spoil it. Alright, so we have heroes, yellow Protoss, Lumix as the off-whitish Terran on Aztec, which is a pretty hard map for Terran. Alright. Ooh. Jared is building a forward pylon. Is he gonna go for a 12 max? It's looking like he might. Or not. No, he's just building really forward. Interesting. He's building a really forward gateway, which is rare for a PvT, but I do like it. Just because if he was to get into a position where siege tanks were on the top of the ramp, heroes just straight up loses. So by building his gateway out here, he's setting up the first wall of, I'm already going to have my stuff out here. It's going to take you longer to try to get into the death position. Meanwhile, Lumix looks like he's also going to build some forward stuff, but he's getting the fast refinery. So he might also just be doing that to get stuff out in the front and not going for an immediate fast exo. I really like that decision from both players. Although for heroes, it does have the unintended consequence of he has to build his cyber core out here too, which is just going to kind of block up things as you get later into the game. I mean, theoretically, goons should be able to get out just fine, but it's goons, so you never know. Alright. Oh, Lumix will be going for a siege expand. And should work out pretty well. Heroes isn't going for anything too aggressive anyway. Ooh. A bit of a mistake from Heroes was not microing that probe. So he's going to lose it. Oops. Oh. First goon out. And, Lumix can make this flush with the bottom wall. I'm not sure if that was an accident or not, but now he's running a Marine around trying to avoid the Zealot, but can't avoid it for that long. He's not building anything out of the factory. Oh, he is going for the siege shot, but he's just a little bit late with it. And actually, he's going to have some issues dealing with this at first. Pulling two SCVs and trying to do SCV micro. Snipes the probe once again, but there's still a Zealot with most of its health that he has to worry about. A lot more SCVs being pulled, but the Zealot's going to be able to run in to the main, get a scout off, or go for kills if it wants to. And here's the goon. The goon is what's going to be the real problem. The machine shop just finishes now, but he hasn't started the tank yet. And the Heroes needs to try to micro the goon away from the SCV so it doesn't take too much damage. So it really doesn't need to at this point. And, Heroes is messing up with a little bit of his early game micro, not bringing that goon in, allowing that goon to take a lot of hits. The tank is now on the way. And, just barely keeping this goon alive, but, Lumix making this gap big enough for not only Zealots, but also goons is really starting to cost him, allowing his opponent to have some nice micro opportunities. And now, Lumix is forced to try to do some fancy SCV micro, but he's losing a lot of them inevitably. First tank now out. Is he going for siege mode first? He is going for siege mode first, but it's a pretty delayed siege mode so that he could get the second tank started first. But it looks like it's going to be enough to chase away Heroes. Those are two rather injured goons, one of them going down. And it looks like Hero isn't going to continue with it, keeping the next goon back at home. Yet he's throwing down two more gateways. Well, here's just throwing down more gateways, and Lumix is going to go for some drop play. Now, on this map, this is cliffable. So, he has siege mode on the way. Siege mode is already finished. He has siege mode finished, so he'll be able to drop either one or both of his tanks out on top here and do a lot of damage to heroes. And heroes doesn't have a robo bay to build a shuttle. Robo bay's on the way, but it's not going to be as fast as the dropship, which is almost finished. So, Lumix is probably going to have a nice opportunity to do some real damage. Meanwhile, Lumix is just now throwing down his command center. It's very delayed because he got the factory and the starport first. He's definitely going to need to... he's definitely going to need to do some damage with whatever type of drop play he decides to do. And it looks like he's not going to go for the siegeable natural. He's going to go into the back here. And this is a very open space, so I think Heroes isn't going to have too much of a problem getting goons back. If it was Vultures, I feel a lot better in Lumix's position, but since it's siege tanks, I feel that they can be killed off rather easily. He got 4 probe kills, and now he's going to retreat. He needs to dodge these goons. Dropships are pretty slow. Well, pretty good so far. 4 kills, no damage. But Heroes does now know about the dropship. He's going to keep some goons back here, so I don't think Lumix can be able to do something like that again. Shuttle is on the way so that he will be able to deal with anything up top, if that is where Lumix decides to go eventually. Meanwhile, 2 more factories being thrown down for Lumix, going to bring his total up to 3. Anyway, mines upgrade's done. I don't know if speed is done, but he doesn't have any vultures to check it on. Not continuing with the dropships, so just gonna do it with 1. I'm not sure what he plans on doing with this dropship. I don't think he's gonna reach a point where Heroes is gonna go away and he's gonna have an opportunity to do that again, but it seems that's what he's hoping for. Oh, he is building a second dropship. Does he have vultures out yet? Only 1 vulture out. He's very tank heavy for wanting to do dropship play. And there's a shuttle over here with 2 dragoons, so as soon as tanks drop there, they're going to be taken out almost immediately. I'm really interested to see what he's able to do with his drop play. Heroes starting to expand over to this mineral only. It's pretty safe in terms of having to deal with a traditional army, but it's very hard to defend this against vulture harass. There are a lot of places on this map that are hard to defend against vulture harass. Anyway, looks like speed just finished. And where's the second dropship? Flying out this way, it has 3 vultures in tow. So he'll be able to drop... interesting wall. He's going to put another pylon here that will make it safe, but the vultures are going to go in. Unfortunately, Lumix is a little bit too early, so he won't be able to do too much damage. Dragoons are going to chase it off. No. Lumix very lucky to not have the dropship sniped, only 1 hit away. And here comes Lumix to try to drop on the other side, but there were 2 dragoons waiting. He's going to try to do some fancy tank micro, but it's not going to work out for him. He's definitely going to lose that dropship. Does manage to drop both of the tanks before it goes down, though. Unfortunately, he only managed to kill 1 dragoon. So that drop was a bust. Is the other dropship still alive? Oh, did he lose the other dropship? No, the other dropship's hiding down in this corner. Alright. So, still Lumix is on 5 factories. Only 1 machine shop, though. He's on 7 factories off of 1 base. 7 factories, 1 machine shop. Okay. Guess we're going to be Vulture heavy for a while. I assume he's going to send an SCV up very soon to take that mineral only. Anyway, Lumix putting a little bit of aggression on, but I don't think it's going to work out very well. This dropship that was used to prevent potential cliff drops is going to be able to zealot bomb very easily. Going to clean that up. A few vultures showing up late to the party, going to be taken out. And I think that Heroes is looking really strong at this point. Yeah. 63 supply compared to 115. Yeah. Lumix needs to do a lot of damage with his massive vulture army. We'll see. Interesting using vultures to scout out this place. He had vultures here. I think he forgot about that dropship. Anyway, here comes the attack from Heroes. Lumix, I don't think he has the tank count to deal with that many goons. He only has 2, and he's producing off of 2 factories, so he'll have 4 when the engagement actually happens. Ooh, that was unfortunate. He has an observer there, too. Looks like these Dragoons cleared up a little bit of vulture harass. So, yeah, I think Heroes is just going to win whenever he decides to attack. It looks like it's going to be now. Zealot bomb's going down, only killing Marines at first, but it's going to distract a lot of the tank fire. And here comes the overwhelming wave of goons. There's a good number of vultures coming up now. Are they going to be able to tank enough shots? There are so few tanks, they're not going to do damage very quickly, but the goons are clumping up a lot, so it looks like it's going to be just not quite enough. It's close. Looks like a pretty even army trade, but Heroes is going to come out just a little bit ahead. Where are Lumix reinforcements? He's not making tanks out of this one. There are tanks coming out of the second factory, but now Lumix has 3 Dragoons and have cleared up all of Lumix's units. And this base is completely undefended, not to mention his natural is essentially undefended as well. I'm not sure why he's focusing down these floating buildings, but he is. The shuttle has nothing in it, so it's just these 3 Dragoons alone, and Heroes isn't reinforcing. Interestingly, he's now sending some units down, but those are very late. They're not going to arrive in time for when these Dragoons are killed. And Lumix is going to survive a bit longer, but the units are streaming down towards Lumix's 3rd. I don't think Lumix is going to be able to defend it. Oh, are they not going to go for the 3rd? Are they actually going to try to run up the ramp? It looks like they weren't intended to go for the 3rd, but instead go up the ramp. The Dragoons are on A move, so they happen to see the command center, but the Zealots are just going to go and try to attack stuff. 1 tank goes down instantly. There's still 2 tanks in the back, but I think that there's just not enough stuff here. They don't have time to siege up either. But that 3rd is going to survive a little bit longer. Lost a 3rd of its health. And yet more units are streaming in. Heroes has expanded to take a 5th at this point. Alright, these units got cleared up. Now Heroes is going for the 3rd. He's going to eat some mine heads. He doesn't have an observer with his army, but it's just on Zealot, so it's fine. The vultures might just be enough to defend. Nope, doesn't look like it. It's going to be close once again. I think that Lumix is going to prevent the loss of the 3rd. But where is Hero's army? He should have a much larger army at this point in the game. He has 140... he's going carriers. Everything is explained. Alright. So I guess Lumix isn't going to die soon. We're gonna wait for 10 carriers or however many before Heroes attacks. Well. So, Lumix hasn't scanned it yet. So he's not building Goliath. 5 base carrier is pretty hard to deal with when you don't scan it. This dropship's still chilling. Alright, well, in the meantime, before the carriers get out, Lumix is going to have a chance to try to assert a little bit of map control. Heroes has been very good about creating vulture-proof walls here. They're not completely vulture-proof, but they're vulture-proof to an extent. Ooh, they didn't go up and scout out that fleet beacon. But, going to be able to do some probe damage here. The Dragoons aren't really able to get back because the mines are stopping them, so actually these vultures are going to do some pretty good damage before the cannons clean them up. Very nice. Lots of mines out in the middle of the map that Heroes is going to have to clean out. Carrier count's up to 4. Now he's starting the next round. And Heroes now taking it 6, with Lumix still on 3. Heroes is maxed compared to Lumix's 125. Yeah. Getting the Science Vessel, getting EMP. That's not going to help against carriers very much. No! Well, that's some unfortunate timing. Well, Heroes going to lose most of his probes. So sad. Lumix is doing some pretty good economic harass with the vultures, but it just kind of doesn't matter when your opponent has twice as many bases as you. Lumix is now starting to take a 4th, but doesn't have anything remotely close to it to defend it. How close are we to this? Almost up to 7 carriers, and Heroes is probably going to move out. Well, no, he's no longer maxed. Whoa. Heroes has 140 APM. He's not really doing much, just kind of waiting for carriers. Anyway, 7 carriers out. Making carriers up to 10, but gonna move out for 7. 6 is the quote-unquote magic number, but Lumix still doesn't know it's coming, so he still isn't making Goliaths, and doesn't have any Goliaths. He has turrets, but not enough. He's kinda dead. A lot. Yeah. Yeah. That's not good. Now he's trying to build Goliaths. Unfortunately, Hero's main was not big enough to sneak in hidden proxy vultures. So, that wasn't gonna work. Nope. Lumix, under 100 supply, has 3 Goliaths, 4 Goliaths. Probably should leave the game now. There we go, GG. Alright. 1-1 going into game number 3. Let's see if Lumix can pull it out, which would be a pretty big upset if he did. But he looked nice in the first game, even if you take away the super secret hidden factory. He still was in a pretty dominant position. Anyway, PvT Fighting Spirit, Heroes at top right, Lumix at bottom right. Wait, are people saying 4 carriers is the magic number? 4 carriers don't do anything. You definitely need 6 to be able to start microing against Goliath. I'm almost certain it's 6. And then it's still pretty hard at 6. 8's nice, but 6 is the bare minimum. I don't think I've ever seen anybody move out with 4. A lot of people are telling it's 4. Man, am I gonna have to do the math in my head? 8. Okay, interceptors have 6 attack. Minus 2 for Goliath armor? I'm pretty sure it's minus 2 because they usually have plus 1 at that point and they have a base of 1. So 4 times 8 times 4. 16 times 8 is 80 plus 42. Is that right? I guess 4 is enough to one-shot a Goliath. Assuming that all the interceptors hit, which doesn't always happen. I know base armor's 1, but they have plus 1 at that point in the game anyway. Is 6 times 8 48? Whatever. I'm not Asian, so I can't give you my Asian card. Whatever. It's not like I have to do math anymore. That's what calculators are for. Ew. Heroes going for the fake range. No, that's just a scout. That's a scout, right? Yeah, that's a scout. So, the question is, what is he gonna fake the range for? DTs? I'm thinking DTs. Yep, DTs. Alright. Let's see what Lumix has versus the DTs. Lumix's builds have been pretty similar to Game's, except that the game was getting ridiculously fast E-base, and Lumix was not getting ridiculously fast E-base. That second factory's not on eBay. Is he gonna go for a third factory? No. I was like, what? You can't get 3 factories? Anyway, getting a siege tank, that's not a vulture. Getting siege mode, that's not mines. Ooh. DT drops. Where is the archives? Here's the archives. Alright, DT drops. So, even if he does get mines out, it really won't help. Lumix is in trouble. Lumix is only 3 fact before expanding? Well, maybe he can just kill heroes before the DTs come. Not likely. At all. No, I'm pretty sure you're just screwed. Yeah. What? Okay. I know what the chat's talking about. That's fine. Mines are on the way, but the shuttle's done. DTs are loaded up. No, there we go. So, Lumix is going to need some pretty godlike mine placement right now. But he doesn't know that the DTs are coming. Oh, is he going to scout it? I think he saw that shuttle. Okay, he knows DTs are coming. He knows the shuttle's coming. Yes, he's moving back his forces. He might be able to stop it. If he could snipe it with the Marines, maybe? I'm kind of grasping at straws. No, DTs are out. He doesn't have an eBay. He doesn't have an academy. Marines are all dead. Mines are being laid. Oh, he's microing. He's microing the DTs with the shuttle to avoid mine hits. Very nice move by Heroes. Yeah, Lumix is dead. So sad. Trying a long distance mine, hoping to drag DTs into the minefield. And he's gonna float the command center out to the natural. Going for a counterattack too, but there's a DT over here as well, so all he has to do is block the ramp. Not take too many mine hits. Oh, man. If only Lumix had another awesome strategy like he did in the first game. Alright. So, Asia Pacific is one game away from taking this and moving on to the finals, which I think most people would be consider to be quite the upset. Or, yeah, Asia Pacific is kind of an underdog in this tournament. I don't think people were expecting them to make it all the way to the finals. They're a pretty strong team, but, well, let's see. Let's see if they can close it out with the 2v2. That's right. Who do we have playing for the 2v2? Alright. Lumix in game. Versus Heroes and KKLL. Alright. Game is purple. I like that plan. Apparently Lumix does not like that plan as much. What's the score? Oh, that's great. I love that mentality. No nukes. What's the score? Did I got that right. Alright, so GZ for America versus PP for China, Asia Pacific. Well, they're both Chinese, so either way. Apparently they're Protoss random, but Protoss. Alright, getting these colors right. We have Game as the Zerg, Lumix as Terran, KKLL as white, and Heroes as teal. What you need to remember is cross allies. America's a slash, Asia Pacific's a backslash. America, Asia Pacific. Alright. So, this is a pretty rare matchup just because PP is never used in 2v2. But, except for Asia Pacific. Because Asia Pacific's just like, we're going to send our best 2 players for the 2v2. And we're just going to have them use their main races. Alright, that's good. Now it's standard in a 2v2 for Protoss to just go 2-gate, because if you don't go 2-gate, then you won't have... If you go 1-gate tech, then you die to pretty much anything your opponent does. And if you go for something with a lot of cannons in the beginning, then your opponent dies to whatever your... excuse me, your ally dies to whatever your opponent's doing. So you need to have 2-gate to not only defend yourself, but to be able to defend your allies. Not as important for a strategy like that for Team USA. Both Zerg and Terran can kind of get away with just defending themselves and then allowing their ally to go for counterattacks. In fact, Lunix is going to go for Fast Vulture, which is almost exclusively seen in against PP. I guess you can kind of do it in PT, against a PT, but not usually. Oh man. Anyway, looks like Combined Might of Asia Pacific is going to try to take out Lumix quickly. The bunker's not quite done, but this is a pretty strong SimCity. I don't know if the Zelts can actually get through that, but we're about to find out, I guess. I know this is tight. No, it looks like they're going to have to try to go around. So with some good SCV micro, he won't lose too much. Here comes the next wave of Zealots. The bunker's now finished, so the Marines can get in there, and they do go in. The bunker gives them just a little bit of extra range, which is really going to help defend pretty much everything he's built so far. And here comes Game's Zerglings to do a lot of damage, taking out 2 of the Zealots immediately. And it looks like this attack is going to be shut down pretty easily. I'm not sure who's going where, but a pylon's being thrown down for Heroes. Instantly canceled when he realized all of his Zealots are going to die. Apparently go meant I'm going to take my Marines out of the bunker. Was he? Ooh, he's going to try to cannon rush. Oh, that would have been cool. Alright. So, Lumix. Excuse me. Lumix is feeling pretty confident. He's now starting to spread out, trying to give himself more room to throw down the machine shops. But he still has to deal with a lot of Zealots at this point. I think there's about 10 Zealots coming at him from the Combined Might of Asia. He needs to get those Marines into the bunker. He's going to lose 1, and that barracks is loading, so he's not going to be able to make another one. He's only going to have 2 Marines. Ooh, that's not going to be a lot. Meanwhile, Game going for a counterattack against Heroes, and he's going to be able to do a lot of damage. But will Lumix be able to survive? I think that Heroes is going to be fine, because he did throw down 1 or 2 cannons, and there weren't that many Zerglings. Keeping a little bit here, but most of them are retreating back to try to save Lumix. And here come all of the Zealots. There are only 2 Marines, so the bunker's not doing that much damage, but it's so hard for the Zealots to get back there, and it's being repaired that it looks like Lumix is going to live. He is complimenting himself on his SimCity. And looks like Heroes once again tried the cannon rush, but got shut down again. Game pointing out that he did take out Heroes' gateways, forcing him to rebuild more. So Heroes is going to be immobilized for quite a while. He's not going to be able to get a good number of Zealots out, and that's going to give him a good opportunity to attack KKLL, who's now building at Stargate. Interesting, but he has to deal with a lot of Zerglings. I'm not sure if he has enough stuff to deal with the Combined Might of Zerglings and Vultures. We're going to see, I guess. There is an Overlord even coming in to help the Vulture's spot. They're laying down mines. Oh, I guess they're not going to. They're just going to mine this and then go and try to take out Heroes. Heroes doesn't have that many cannons. So, that many Zerglings should be enough to do a lot of damage. Will it be able to win outright? I'm not quite sure. That's a good number of Zerglings. Meanwhile, Game has made the transition to Mutalisks. But, the Corsairs coming out should be able to counter the Mutalisks pretty effectively. And, ooh, Heroes isn't building Zealots, he's building more Dragoons. Dragoons are not going to be very good against a large number of Zerglings. He's not even going to be able to get back and try to retreat to the cannons. But there's the go. All the Zerglings are streaming in. And he's trying to pull the probes, but the probes are a little bit late. Mutalisk coming overhead as well, going to help a lot with taking down the cannons. A Robobay finishes, but the Reaver's not going to be in time to do anything. He's going to have to try to stack with just the cannons and the probes. The final Dragoon dies. All the cannons go down. And it looks like it's going to be up to KKLL to do something with a sizable force. Game can't hold. He doesn't have enough time to throw down the Sunkens, and the Mutalisks are not going to be very... Well, the Mutalisks are going to be kind of effective against this. There aren't that many Dragoons. The Dragoons aren't that good against Mutalisks to begin with. This could be very bad. This could be bad for Game, but at the same time, Zerglings have taken out almost everything, not quite finishing Heroes off. He still does have a few minerals and a couple of probes. But here comes KKLL's army. Looks like he did delay enough time to get down 2 Sunkens, and 2 Sunkens are going to be enough to take out the 3 Zealots that made it up. And it looks like Game has avoided disaster. Heroes has taken a crippling blow. Ooh. And Team America is looking rather strong at this point. KKLL does have a good Dragoon Corsair, is pretty good against Vulture Mutalisk, but he's just not going to be able to compete economically. Lumix is even expanded. How far away is he from observers? Pretty far away. He doesn't have a robo down. His Heroes, on the other hand, can get an observatory, but he's so poor it's going to be hard for him to. Getting a Reaver. Oh, he did get an observer, but he got sniped. And now here come the Mutalisks. These Mutalisks, I think, are going to be enough to take Heroes out of the game. Cannons aren't going to kill the Mutalisks quite fast enough. So it looks like Heroes is going to be eliminated. Some Corsairs coming to help, but it just doesn't matter. Heroes packing up all of his probes into the shuttle and then flying it away. But it can't quite get away. There goes all of his probes. He has... Okay, not quite all of his probes. There is a supply left. Because he's building observers. So it was all of his probes. And he has 125 minerals left. A little bit more if he cancels the observers. So he's not completely out of it, but he might as well be out of it. And now it's just a matter of taking out KKLL, who's been pretty left alone this game. He hasn't really sustained any damage. So he has a sizable force to be dealing with. But at the same time, once these tanks get out, won't be too much of a problem. In fact, Heroes lost his Nexus, so Heroes is eliminated. All he can do is spam like 4 more observers to aid. He has to make tanks. Please don't go nukes. This is almost exactly what happened in the last time that U.S. played Asia Pacific. Same people, same scenario where one of the Asia people got eliminated, and then Lumix went, "I'ma make nukes," and then they almost lost a 2v1. It came really close. Oh, Heroes still helping out, getting some observers there to help them clear out the mines. But yeah, it's 63 supply compared to 54 plus 48. and lots of Mutalisks are now able to harass the probes. He doesn't need to try to avoid it. KKLL does have a lot of anti-air. I don't know what he's talking about, the ramp. Anyway, looks like Game's just going to engage him straight up. I'm not sure that's going to work out terribly well. But, yeah, KKLL can survive for a bit longer, but he can't do anything to advance himself in the game, really. He can only just survive. Alright. Here goes KKLL's final attack. This is going to win it. There's not really much you could do. And GG from Team Asia Pacific. And USA takes game 1. They only need to win one more to not be eliminated. Alright, game number 2. So, here we go. 2v2 on circuit breakers. Ooh. We have rate switching. Purple. Okay, purple and white are allies. So, KKLL is white again, and it is now Terran. Heroes is purple, and now Zerg. Game is still Zerg, and red. Lumix is teal. Alright. So, once again, we have cross allies. Actually, the Asia Pacific players are in the same position. KKLL is still bottom right. Heroes is still top right. But Game and Lumix have switched. But still cross allies. That's what you need to know. TZ versus TZ, though. I don't know if both of the Asia Pacific players are going random now, because last time it was just one of them going random, but now neither of them are their main race Protoss, so unclear. Anyway, we won't be able to see such. We probably will not be seeing such high level tech as we saw last game. That's pretty exclusive. Oh. Let's all make fun of Lumix's wall. You can't just put one here. The game doesn't know if it's wrong, he's just laughing at it anyway. I'm pretty sure that's not right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that you can't put a supply depot here and make this all tight. Anyway. So, the two Overlord Scouts are just getting to their opponent's bases. Team USA should realize that one of them's a Zerg. Game speed is going to be faster. That looks to be true. He started it first. Alright. Oh, they didn't know the races before actually scouting it. I'm pretty sure. So I don't think Team Asia Pacific was random. Anyway, Game's going to attack Terran first with faster speed. Unlike Lumix, KKLL is building the nice SimCity, but it's a little bit harder to do SimCity against Zerglings, especially with speed, than it is with Zealots. So we'll see. First I see he dies. He doesn't see the next 6 Zerglings behind the first 6. I don't know why Lumix has an SCV over here, but that's fine. Whatever. Ooh. Well, I guess it is common for parents to go for factories in TZ. I thought they went M&M. Anyway, just every time there's a Z, you just go M&M. But apparently not. Anyway, looks like game's going to attack Heroes. Heroes just go down to Creep Colony now. It's not going to help out a lot. Trying to get in before the Sunken finishes. But Heroes gets a pretty good surround with his Zerglings. Reinforcements coming in from Lumix is going to be able to turn the battle just barely. And now they're going to try to focus down the Sunken. They are going to be able to get it down before it finishes. How good of a drone drill is he going to need? Because he's going to need a pretty good one to survive here. Not the best, but it looks like 2 extra Zerglings I didn't see pop are going to be able to kill off the last Marines. So Heroes doesn't take too much damage. Alright. Both Terrans went for a 2-fact. But Lumix went for a very fast armory, implying that he is going Goliath. So that's going to be his primary anti-muta play. You can't use mutas if you just go Vulture tank. But KKLL has not thrown down an armory of his own. He's just building Vultures at this point. Meanwhile, what do the muta timings look like? Game's Lair is more than halfway done. And Heroes is delayed quite a bit. He's now taking a lot of damage. Because that Sunken didn't finish in time, he now can't defend against the Vultures. And is KKLL sending anything? He's sending a couple of Marines, but that's not going to be enough to save the Vultures. And once again, Heroes is reduced to 0 supply. With not enough money. He's been eliminated. So it's just down to KKLL to win a 2-on-1. He has a little bit more supplies than the Terran, but Game doesn't exactly have that low supply himself. Well, I guess he has pretty low supply, down to 13. But it's gonna be it's an uphill battle for KKLL at this point. Yep. I'm not sure if Game and Lumix realize that he's out. They might realize it just because he's not building any more drones. Apparently Game is making too many Sunkens. Alright. KKLL really only has the ability to produce Vultures and Marines, as Game was saying. He could make a tank. He's now starting to make tanks. He's really going to need it to try to defend against this, because the Goliaths are just going to tear apart all of the Vultures and Marines. Mines are being laid down, but the Goliaths are pretty good at taking them out. Wow. There are a lot of good control by KKLL to lay down so many mines so quickly, but none of them hit. And it does look like the game is over. Trying to produce more Marines. Getting siege mode. There is a siege tank, but it can be sniped pretty easily at this point. Goliaths running forward. There's a couple of mines, though. Mine hit takes out all the Goliaths. Very nice. Alright. It's muta time. Apparently. KKLL has no armory. Oh, he does have an armory, but he's not making Goliaths. So it's going to be all down to... No, he doesn't have any Marines. Alright, he just has no anti-air. Siege mode is finished, so he might be able to live against the Goliaths? Or not? No, not quite. And KKLL leaves. Game did not get his Mutalisks in. But USA takes the 2v2. Alright. So, Awa sent me a text document. I got told not to read it until I was done casting. So, let's save this thing and open it up. Now hype. Okay. Man, Notepad's not being nice to me right now. Damn it, man! Use enters! He sent it to me in Notepad, and Notepad doesn't automatically make new lines, so I had to stretch, like, the note across 2 monitors to read it all. Alright. So, we have Asia Pacific over the US 3-2 at the moment. We don't have the rest of the games right now. It's being postponed until a future point. Right now, it's Michael versus CVCV BVBV as game number 6 is ZVZ, and then Michael versus the WK as an ace match if Michael wins the ZVZ. So, Michael needs to win 2 games versus China to take the USA to the finals versus Poland. I will be casting this on Tuesday at 14 CET. It's an odd time because school starts for me. So I can't do it in the middle of the day like this because it's like 1 p.m. where I am. So I have to wake up really early and cast it in the morning, and that means 15 CET or 14 CET. And that's what's gonna happen. Am I casting Gambit Cup? I don't know if I'm casting Gambit Cup right now. I don't know if I'm casting Gambit Cup. Anyway. Well, that's it for Nation Wars anyway. Thank you all for watching. I had fun. I'm glad to get back to casting because it's been a pretty long break. Shout out to the sponsor, Altitude the Game by Nimley Games. We're running to the end of the season, so if you haven't downloaded it yet, you really should download it at this point. It's free, and it doesn't take a lot of time. You don't have to sign up for anything. Just download it. Thank you to the players. Thank you to the organizers, AWA and Game, for making this all work, despite all the unknown drama that's too dramatic for me to know about. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Yeah. I am casting Gambit Cup.